It should be illegal to start a hockey game this late. What is going on at this point? Vancouver, I know you live on the West Coast, but the rest of us have lives too. The Canucks, a particularly mediocre team this year. We'll see if they can move towards the Avs or if the Avs can pull away. Let's start the pregame show.
It is the DNVR Avs pregame show presented by Coors Light, and it's a showdown between the Norris favorites. Glad to have you guys along for this one. The battle of Hughes and Makar, but is it really that much of a battle? The favoritism on my end says, nah, just give it to Makar already. Hey guys, Nick Gismondi, Nathan Rudolph, Rudo and Gizmo with you. Tips behind the buttons. We'll have E joining us shortly. Thanks for being with us here at the DNVR Avs pregame show. The original pregame show of all of the podcast pregame shows that are out there. We're glad to have you along for us. And the best, I would say also the best. I mean, we've
been doing it for a while.
I mean, we're good. Yeah, we've been doing it for a long time. Glad to have you guys along for this one. Should be a fun one. I'm actually super hyped to watch hockey again with these guys, because I kind of sort of, as the new guy, been reinvigorated in terms of what this organization really means. Coming in, I heard it was Stanley Cup or bust, but just seeing the way that they approach things now certainly lends me to believe that they are as well. And I've had a chance this last couple of days just to kind of field some phone calls from some friends around the league and from some GMs, and everybody's like, "Oh, great, you guys got your goaltending thing figured out now." It's like, yeah. C-Mac did his job, and now it's go time. So, pretty impressive. They flew out yesterday. Team's still a little bit under the weather.
Yep.
They're still not feeling 100%. There's like a flu / cold going around through the team. It's pretty gnarly right now, and it's kind of zapped their energy. But certainly the way they played the other night against the Preds tells me that they've got a reinvigorated sense too.
Yeah, I mean, physically, unfortunately, the sickness is going to be what it's going to be. But mentally, I think this team is the most locked in they've been all season. I think, look, they're NHL players, they're professionals. They always believe in their own ability. But I think for the first time, really, with the guys behind them, they believe in this team to go places.
Yeah, I think they do too. And I think, we can talk about it right off the hop here. Well, I guess we'll talk about it later on. But listen, I think that what you have in the Colorado Avalanche right now is a team that, as he said, Rudo said, was just ready to go. Focused, driven. They know what the move forward is. They know how to play. They know that management is behind them. I'm excited. I'm sure it's Blackwell. I know it's Blackwood again in net tonight. I think he'll have a real good performance. And hopefully they're feeling up to it. This is a weird time zone shift for these guys again. That will play a factor.
It is. And I do think Blackwood still has something to prove. Don't get me wrong. He was amazing in the Nashville game. But
you hinted at that today with your review.
Yeah, look. Okay. He deserves credit for that game, but that's also Nashville. They're 31st in the league, and they're the worst goal-scoring team in the league.
Yeah.
Vancouver, they're not the best team in the league, but they can score goals, man. This team can put the puck in the back of the net. You would really like to see a good game out of Blackwood for him to prove to himself that, hey, yeah, I can beat the bad teams, but the real test in Colorado, you got to be able to beat the good teams too. So I do think it's an important game for him.
It is. It's an important game for the team to get this road trip started the right way. Then you've got back-to-backs with San Jose and Anaheim. Those could be considered a little bit more of a tap-in.
You gotta win those.
Yeah, the next 5 games certainly, or the 5 games that we've had here in our stint, not too bad so far.
Yep.
That Utah game, we told you that was a throwaway. But boy, oh boy, if you could pick up 6 points real quick before coming home and finishing things off before that Christmas break against, who do we got? Seattle? Or no. Yeah. Who's on the 22nd? Yeah, Seattle. I know what I'm talking about. Before you have the Kraken on the 22nd, you'd be a happy team right now.
Oh, yeah. The Avs are poised. They've put themselves in a position to go on a run here. Now, it might not start just yet. But you have some easy teams coming up where the Avs have to make hay at the end of December and in January. They have to just help secure their position in the league. It's going to be tough at times because the reality is, guess what? The Avs are on another road trip here. They're on another stretch away from home, and it's starting to drag for this team.
Well, it was dragging at the end of the last one, and now it's lingering, right? And the being sick did not help the mood in everybody in that regard either. Now you're just like, come on. And you got, but this is what happens in a hockey team and a hockey locker room. Anytime you're this jammed in together, sharing water bottles, showers, clothing, all that stuff, it's bound to happen.
Yep.
Let's say you got game notes today?
I do.
Let's take a look at those then, because the numbers tell a story for sure.
Vancouver is a fascinating team. If we have more time later in the week or month, I'd love to dive into them more because they're just okay when it comes to puck possession, and they're just okay with their expected generation. They're a middle of the pack team in both those statistics. The Avs are better in both of those statistics, but they're shooting the roof off the building. They're third in the league in shooting at 5-on-5, about 10.5%. The Avs have finally started to course correct there. They're starting to slowly move up the league in 5-on-5 shooting percentage, so that's good to see. But fascinatingly, Vancouver not only doesn't generate very well, they're horrible at generating high-danger chances. They do not generate high-danger chances well, and they still find ways to finish effectively. So to me, that does feel like they're probably getting a little bit lucky this season, and they're probably outscoring what they should be. You put in a quality goaltender like Mackenzie Blackwood behind a team like the Avs, maybe they can change those tides a little bit for Vancouver. But I will say with that last stat in there, Vancouver's going to play you hard. You're going to have to work hard physically. For an Avs team that's under the weather, they got to build themselves up a little bit here and be ready to work through it.
What do you make of this game in terms of if you had to pinpoint one of the things that's probably the most important? I tend to keep going back to it still being starts.
Yeah, look, the Avs have to do a better job starting. You've solved seemingly one of those problems where you're not going into every game expecting to give up one or two in the first period anymore.
Or four.
But that does not excuse the lack of offensive effect in the first period. It has to be the entire team. You have to be able to take advantage of the saves you're getting now and score the first goal and put yourself in the driver's seat and continue to play effective hockey. As we've said, the Avs continue to be one of the best teams in the league when they play with a lead. So why are you making it so hard on yourself to get that lead in the first place? If they do that, they're probably a top 5 team in the NHL. If they don't do that, they're still a decent team, but it's especially illness, long road trips. You will burn yourself out. We saw that's what happened in the Utah game is they just got burned out. They ran out of gas. You have to start better. If you start 3, 4, 5 games in a row with the lead, guess what? You have that extra juice in your legs. You have that extra play in you. You have those extra, I guess not extra, but you've played fewer minutes across the course of a road trip. It has more effect than just the game you're in. It's the entire season you're helping yourself with.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're evolving the look here for me. This is the facial hair. The hair's changing a little bit.
We got him in a hoodie. We're working on it.
We're working on it. We're getting there. This is a very different. We're letting the hair down a little bit. The hair's going to change a little. We're letting it. We're going to let it go gray. The Van Dyke. I didn't know that's what that was called, but it's sick. I'm going for it. I appreciate it. There's another comment about media manufactured drama in Canadian markets. Jeremy, there's media manufactured drama everywhere. I mean, trust me, there were times when I was working for teams and they're just like, hey, you can't spin it this way, you got to spin it that way. And you're like,
if you say so.
Okay, you're the one signing my checks right now. Luckily, Tiff is signing my checks and she doesn't care what we say or do.
Yeah. We'd be making more money if Tiff was signing.
Yeah, I know we would. I'm well aware of that. Tiff knows how much I love her. Tiff, do we have the Dr. Riviere?
No. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. Sacre bleu. We'll talk about injuries in a minute because those are still lingering also.
They are.
Listen, Manson is on this road trip. So as we've learned with Jared Bednar, and as you all have known with him before, if Manson is on the road trip, then he's probably going to play in a game. No sense in bringing him on a trip for no reason when he could just be here skating. So I imagine that we'll probably see Manson in one of the 2 back-to-backs, if not both of them. Really happy that these guys are healing as quickly as they are. So we'll wait to see if we get him back, and we'll talk about the others shortly too. But injuries are still lingering.
Yeah, the reality of the NHL is injuries are never going to fully go away, but it does seem like for the second time this season, things are starting to trend up for the Avs in the injury category. You get through this illness, you get Manson back, you get through this road trip, and you're still going to be missing a couple of forwards, but you should feel like this is a team that you can compete with on every single night.
Tiff on the spot with it. Shillington, as we said, still week to week. Manson on that road trip. Nothing new on Wood. Nothing new on Drouin. Nothing new on Gabriel Landeskog. Yep. And you've updated it, haven't you? You've made it even better. You've really gone with Dr. McRuvier. Dr. McRuvier, Lacroix. Your skills are so good. Oh, Diff, you are like a budding rose in the spring beneath the Eiffel Tower, huh?
Very uncomfortable.
It's beautiful, huh? Yes.
Sure.
No?
Sure.
Have you never seen the way the dew hits the rose petals underneath the shadow of the Eiffel Tower? Huh?
Never been to France, buddy. Never been to France.
No, we must go together.
Okay, I'm down.
How do you say here in the States? Romantic, huh?
Oh, good.
Yes.
Looking forward to that.
We'll go
It's
together,
beautiful.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hold hands, perhaps.
Is there hockey involved?
Crepes. No.
Okay.
Yes,
well,
we will play.
The only thing I find romantic is hockey. So
And then we will play with the hockey. Totally lost my track of thought there, but perfect. That's the injury list right now. One more thing to talk to you before we get to our boy Big E for the 3 keys. The addition that they made, I like what they did there. He's not an addition; they're just the signing. This is a guy who's an upgrade of Smith.
Yeah, I mean, look, realistically, you're talking about the fringes of your roster there. Whether you want it to be Smith, whether you want it to be Felleber, these guys are going to play 5-6 minutes a night. You're not asking them to win you games. You're asking them not to lose you games. If they go out and don't give up any goals when they're on the ice, mission accomplished. I'm not going to overthink it too much. Unfortunately, some of the Avs prospects like Foodie and Olausson just have not done enough to earn those opportunities at this point, which is disappointing. But to me, I'd keep playing Nikita Prischapov. If it were my choice, he'd be the guy I'd have in the lineup. I think he's been fine for you, but it's just not something worth losing sleep over. These guys are replaceable and rotatable in the NHL.
And that's what you're seeing. We'll see if he makes an impact today. Nothing against Smith, but I'm hoping he doesn't take an offensive zone penalty at any point during this game.
Bar's
tonight.
pretty low.
That'd be good. Yeah, like to see that happen. Let's check in. A special day, by the way. I doubt he is watching, and I really hope he's not watching. But Max Lacroix, my guy, turns 21 years old today.
Max Lacroix has a birthday the Monday before me.
There you go. Didn't know that, did you?
Yeah.
Yes. Max Lacroix. Happy 21st, kiddo. You know how infinitely proud of you I am and how much I love you, buddy. And I can't wait to see you and have a drink with you. Let's check in with his dad right now, former NHLer Eric Lacroix, on his 3 keys for the night.
Big E's 3 keys. Avs, second game of the road trip versus the Carolina Hurricanes tonight. Number 1, carry over the emotions. Wow, what a historical comeback. It was awesome to see. But you got to take that. Biggie's 3 keys, first game tonight, late start there in Vancouver. First game of a 3-game road trip for the Avalanche before the Christmas break, the holiday break there. Coming up next weekend, listen, key number 1, ozone time on demand. I do believe there's a little bit of a weakness there, a little bit of a suspect decor playing right now for the Vancouver Canucks. I think you can expose them. If you look back at last game, plays like Middlestat below the goal line. He's the master, by the way. He's the master below the goal line. Reminds me a little bit of 99 there in his office behind the net there. Casey has been doing great the last couple games. Let's keep this up tonight. Let's expose their decor with second and third chances in front of the net. Number 2, leads. Rudo talked about it last game. This team is different. This team is different when they get the leads, especially after the first period. There's no looking back, especially with the goaltending. That's been addressed there the last 10 days by management. You do have a little bit of everything right now. You got the offense, you got the defense, and then you got the goaltending. So when you get leads, and the Avalanche, we all know after 2 periods, are very dominant at closing out games. That's the recipe tonight. To get a big win on the road is to get a lead. Number 3, just living the road life. You know, they had 2 big road trips this month. This is another one, a shorter one, 3 games in 4 days. Opposite side of the clock, meaning in the West Coast, some warm weather, a little bit of banged up players right now under the weather. Rinse and repeat. Get to the hotel. You know, rest. There's no distractions with the holidays. And when I say distractions, I mean that we all want to be with our families. I'm saying when you're under the weather, it's kind of nice to, you know, to go back to the hotel, shut it down, and then just kind of rest. We all know what rest can do to a body that's not feeling the greatest. So just get back to living the great road life that you've been doing this past month. The Avalanche really got back on track with their road play this season. It's been phenomenal. It's been great. Is it perfect? No, nothing's ever perfect. But I'll tell you one thing. They feel good. They feel good when they are on the road. Let's keep this up and then start with it. We can't win all the games on the road trip if you don't win the first one. So let's go. It starts tonight.
Sound logic. It's science. Of course, we've got Hockey in the Rockies for you, a game day tradition that we've started to get going, and Rudo got in on it the other day when we were at home, but we'll carry it on here with E, even though he's on the other side of the country today. But, buddy, the battle of all time, Makar versus Hughes. Thoughts?
No question about it. No doubt about it. Guys want to measure themselves against the best, or what they qualify as the best around the National Hockey League, or any sport for that matter. No different for Cale Makar, no different for Quinn Hughes. Don't kid yourself. They want to perform. That doesn't mean that you don't like the person. They might not know each other. I'm not sure what the relationship is, but it's a respect thing. If you go back to Avalanche 1.0, we all know that there was a lot of hatred and a lot of things and a lot of that. But as a team, you respected each other and you made each other better because you wanted to beat one another, and you had to beat one another to come out of the Western Conference, for example. So it's the same thing for a guy like Hughes or Makar tonight, because you want to show everyone this is what I have, and what you can do, I can do better. And it's just human nature. And I think if you ask them, they'll tell you, no, I got to worry about my game. And, you know, of course, but it's subconsciously in your back of your head. Everybody is a human being. Everybody has human feelings. And I think you want to excel and you want to do better than the guy that they compare to you or they say is the top 2 defensemen in the National Hockey League.
E, appreciate the insight always. Listen, they've got to grind here, like we were talking about a little bit earlier with the schedule, for just a few games. Get these points. After this 3-gamer, you come home for 1, and then you got that nice little Christmas break that seems a little longer this year, actually, than it has been in the past. I can't believe we get to go home for like 4 days, but they look forward to the break, obviously.
I do think the Avs, as a group, as a management, as a staff, they feel good about where they're at, and where they could have been. It wasn't for the stellar play of some guys, and it wasn't for injuries or sorry. I can't say it wasn't for, but if it wasn't for the injuries, but the guys that stepped up. But I'll tell you one thing, you look forward to a trip like this because there's always something to look forward right after, which is you got those 3 games and you come home for 1 game. So you really have a week there, and then you have a little reset. Whether you're on the right track, on the wrong track, like the Buffalo Sabres lost 10 in a row, trust me, you are absolutely dying to get to that break right now, because you're like, maybe the break is gonna save us, or some, we have to get out of this funk. And sometimes 3 days off or the holiday break will do that. Everybody kind of focused at the family and different things other than hockey for 48 hours or 72 hours. So for the Avalanche, it's like, hey, you're on the road again this week. You have a couple new guys that are very vocal. Just happen to be goalies. How great is that for them to get to know the rest of the team, one another? We've been talking about this the whole month, it sounds like, because they've been on the road. But tell you one thing, you just kind of get going here, and you want to make sure that you play good on those games, and you want to make sure that you do rest a little bit. As we all know that the cold or the flu, whatever it is that's going around the team, you can just retrieve to your room, rest, relax, drink lots of liquids, and you feel good, and you want to look forward to that break. And for the Avalanche, they can just knock it out of the ballpark this week, and then really feel good about where their game's headed, especially with the lineup that's been assembled, really to take on that second part of the season.
Love the Christmas tree behind you. 'Tis the season. I'm getting into it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually playing the Christmas music in the car now, and the whole. I know you don't because you worked in retail. My mom worked in retail for forever as well, and somehow she stays, Christmassy.
There's one good Christmas song, and it's the remix of "Get Low" by There I Ruined It. I'm telling you, you will be shocked at how quality this remix is for a joke of a song.
I watched, you know what movie I watched last night? And I was reluctant to do it, was Red One with The Rock.
Ooh, I like Red One, though.
Amazon Prime. Did you see it yet?
I have not seen. I watched the old Big Red One, the movie.
Okay, so this is Red One.
Right, no, this is the Christmas movie.
Yeah, Christmas movie.
Yeah.
The Rock.
I've seen the commercials for it.
It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. The Rock is Secret Service for the Santa.
As much as I hate Christmas music, I like Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Those I'm down with.
I'm starting to get into. I know I'm gonna watch all of them when I'm home on the couch with the family, but I've only watched Elf so far, Red One now, which will become a tradition because it was awesome, and Christmas Vacation, which.
As long as you get to Die Hard, we're good.
Oh, 100%. Buddy, it is not Christmas until Hans Gruber falls off a Nakatomi Plaza.
I'm saying.
I mean, 100%. 100%. I'll watch Die Hard with the Marine brother when we're home.
There you go.
With a glass of whiskey and
up.
eggnog and a fire going, and we'll just put our Glocks on the table. You're always supposed to Christmas Eve leave a weapon in a.
Oh, is that what it is?
For
John McClane.
For John McClane. Yeah. Cookies out for Santa, carrots out for the reindeer, and a Glock in the ducting of your office complex for John in case he needs it. Whatever. It's fun, Jeremy. It's a fun movie. I mean, it's just fun, right? It's fun. It's not winning an Oscar. Let's just say that. But I loved it. I had fun watching it last night. Norris, Hughes, Makar. Yep. Quinn is very good, and I've watched him play since he was a kid. Awesome family, incredibly awesome, wonderful, lovely family, great boys. Mom and dad are awesome, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, for me though, it's not a question. Cale Makar is just so dynamic, and then you factor in what he means to the team from the leadership standpoint and what he did again this year to get them through the hump. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, if you had to vote today, I would not blame you for voting for Hughes. If you voted for anyone but Hughes or Makar, you're wrong. But they don't award the Norris at game 32. They award the Norris at game 82. So there's a long way left to go. With that being said, I think you're entirely justified in voting for either. Hughes has some better underlying numbers. He probably has the better defensive numbers this year. Makar has better actual numbers, particularly when it comes to goal scoring. Both of them are very good and in somewhat different roles. Hughes doesn't peak it as much as Makar does, but he is better 5-on-5 defensively. Hughes is probably a better setup man, but Makar is a much, much better individual creator. Makar has been unbelievably good with McKinnon and just okay with the rest of the Avs lineup. Hughes has been pretty consistent with his entire lineup. You really could go back and forth between these guys a little bit. I think sometimes you see the analytics community dig too deep into the analytics and you forget that the objective of winning hockey games comes from scoring actual goals, not expected goals. And that's why I give Makar the slight edge, as his actual production is better. Not to take anything away from Hughes. Again, I'm not trying to fight this fight. I'm just saying, in my opinion, it goes to Makar by a pretty slim margin. And head-to-head, Makar has been the victor the majority of the time. When it's them facing up against each other, Makar is definitively better.
Chewbacca makes a point, and I would agree. I think the other element is that he's, Makar is integral to the special teams as well.
I wish he wasn't, to be honest. I wish the Avs had a deep enough defense that Makar could maybe save a couple of minutes of ice time by not playing the penalty kill. But the reality is the Avs aren't that, and Makar has to do everything for them. Look, is he the best penalty killer in the world? No, but it's really hard to judge the Avs penalty kill at all until now, where you feel like you have a goalie you can rely on back there. So is Makar the better player across the course of the careers? I don't think it's close. This year, I think so, but in 10 games, that conversation could change.
Those of you guys asking in the chat, no, the Nuggets play tonight, so no watch along. We will be watching along down at the DNVR bar, having some beverages and some food. So if you are in the vicinity, I know a lot of you are not in Colorado, which I love, but I hate. By all means, come on down and hang out. We're just chilling.
Hopefully soon, chat. We have some plans in place to set up a watch-along studio. So this should be a problem fixed in 2025, but we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
We'll be close, but appreciate you guys always wanting to hang out. I mean, we'll do an intermission hit for you. You can catch that on Twitter. Maybe we'll try to find somewhere else to throw that up. But yeah, we'll be with you. We'll be with you. Happy early birthday. Soon. Yours is on Monday, huh?
Thanks, Mom. Love you.
That's all. That is Mom.
Yep.
Is that Mom?
It's Mom.
Aw, hi, Mom. You have a great son. You'd be very proud of him. He's a rock star, and we love him. Talking about just kind of one more. Well, we'll get to bets in just a second, but when these two match up against each other, what do you put on it? What do you put on it in a head-to-head? Do you? In terms of determining the Norris winner? I mean, does it matter to you? Do you put any value on it?
It's not nothing. It does matter a little bit. If you have two guys that are head-to-head in a race and one of them directly beats the other, then yeah, that's the difference. It's not that important, though.
Okay.
By the end of the season, it's pretty likely one of them will separate. It's like a tiebreaker in the standings, kind of. Regulation and overtime wins is like your head-to-head matchup.
I get it. I think, you got before we get to bets again, you got a prediction on this one? What do you got score-wise tonight?
I think it's going to be pretty low. I think it's going to be pretty low score. Really? I'm feeling it like a 3-1 type of game.
Wow. Okay, so you're going 3-1.
Yeah.
I said 5-3. Billy, young Williams said 2-1.
That is really low score.
2-1. That's what he thinks. What do you got?
I have no idea. 3-5. 5-3.
5-3. So same as me. All right. Okay. All right. Same page. Let's see if that was possibly on the bingo card for bets. 7-3 Avs. Oof. No, I don't know. That's going to be high. I don't know. I don't know.
My bets, look, I took the Avs to win. Oh, these are the wrong bets. Just the first one's the wrong bet? Yeah, no, I took the Avs to win plus 175 to cover. But sure, bet on them to win the first 10. I'm down. Do that. I also took Colton for a point plus money. And then I took the straight up matchup. If both Makar and Hughes pop off tonight, you could be plus 500 on whatever you bet on. They're both good players. I think you're probably struggling to hit the Hughes shots on goal on that one. That's the one you're worried about. But pretty good money for two pretty good players to do pretty well. That's where I'm at with it. I stayed away from the over-under just because weird starts for time lead to weird games. This is usually a thing we talk about in matinee games, but you're talking about starting an hour and a half later local than you would expect to start. So even Vancouver is going to feel like a weird start tonight, and the Avs, you're basically starting at 9:30, which is ridiculous. Yeah. Just weird stuff happens when you have off-kilter starts like that. It could be a 12-goal game. Some of y'all picking 7-3s. I saw it in the chat. It could be a 1-0 game. Both sides.
Michaels could hit.
21-0. Yeah, it could be the single greatest scoring game of any team in history. It could be that.
That could hit. You never know. It's a good call, Floyd. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe Vancouver pulls their goalie to start the game. You guys are thinking this is a high scoring game.
21 for Max. 21 goals for 21 years old.
For Max Lacroix. Hanging out in Boston for your 21st birthday, probably not a bad thing. However, Max doesn't drink.
Yeah, I was going to say, if he drinks, he might not remember the score of this Avs game tonight. But
I don't think. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens to Max. But, again, folks, no watch along for you tonight. We will, however, have intermission hints for you, so you can catch those on Twitter. Yep. And then, of course, we'll have that hour-long post-game show in which Proud Papa Eric Lacroix will be tuning in for us, so we'll have all that for you. Yeah, I think this is going to be a good hockey game.
I do too. Lots of love for Cale. You can bet on him in the chat too. When you do, make sure you do it with Bet365 and you're 21 or older, physically located in Colorado, and you or someone you know, if they have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER today.
Keep that number handy. I'm on a very cold streak. Threw like a Hail Mary at a couple of hockey games tonight, and we'll see if it hits.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Could be right back up.
You'll know right away what my mood is in the post-game show. If I get double whammied and they lose this hockey game and I lose my bets,
down bad, buddy.
bad guy, bad. Not good day. Not good day. Puck Drop is coming up in just a few moments. You can catch it with your friends over on Altitude, Altitude Plus. Connor's got it on the radio if you are listening in that regard on 92.5 locally or on those streaming apps. Make sure you drop us a like. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you have alerts set. And if you aren't a diehard yet, there's still time to do that. Make sure you're doing that and get some extra Christmas stuff. Remember, if you become a diehard, you get a free t-shirt, right? So that's just one of the many perks. Jump in on, get on board with that. Have a wonderful evening. Enjoy the hockey game. We will see you back here at intermission, and then we will be back for an hour-long post-game show. Thanks for tuning in to the Avs pregame show presented by Coors Light.
We all silly like the mayor.